Hi, I'm Anna Goldberg, and today I am going to read The Snail and the Whale to you. Here we go. This is by Julia Donaldson. This is the tale of the tiny snail and a great big gray-blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffled and sighed. "The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail," said the tiny snail. There are other snails in the flock who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wiggle, stay still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sniffed and sighed and cried, "I've got it, I'll hitch a ride." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery blue trail that looped and curled and said, "Ride wanted around the world." The snail wrote with his trail, "Ride wanted around the world." Ride wanted around the world. Ooh, there's a whale. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright, a humpback whale immensely long who sang the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. This is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to the towering icebergs and far-off lands. With fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed in the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves where colorful fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swim past the whale and the snail on his tail. This is the sky. So vast and high, sometimes sunny, blue, and warm, sometimes filled with thunderstorms, zigzagging lightning, flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. She gazed at the sky, the sea, and the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, and amazed by it all, and said to the whale, "I feel so small." But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. And this is the tide slipping away. Uh-oh, whale. And this is the whale lying beached in the bay. "Quick," said the snail. "Back to the sea," cried the snail. "I cannot move on the land, I'm too big," moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. "Then I've got it," she cried, and she started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. And this is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, sit straight, don't talk. This is the board, as black as soot. And this is the snail with an itchy foot. A snail, a snail. The teacher turns pale. Look, say the children, it's leaving a trail. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, save the whale. Save the whale. These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. They got the message, I guess. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting hooray as the whale and the snail safely travel away. Back to the duck, the flock on the rock, who said, how time's flown and haven't you grown? And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shouting stars and enormous waves, shooting stars, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. And then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. Oh, now they all want to ride on the whale. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of a gray-blue humpback whale. The end.